walking tour of the park today and maybe let you see some things that you don't normally get to see when you come to a baseball game. And we're going to start today out here because a couple years ago we started replacing our fencing because it was getting kind of like worn out and that kind of thing. And so what we did was we actually took some of the seating from the grandstand, and it's aluminum and it's awesome material, and we have created a outdoor fencing that goes around, and it almost kind of looks like it's original to the building. Mike Getz, who is a awesome volunteer who has helped us design this. It's a lot of math involved in it, but he got it to work fabulously, and it makes it look like it belongs here. So that's kind of one of our projects that we've done most recently, and we're gonna head inside the park. So let's walk down this way. Again, we're gonna pass by our little friends over here. This would be the original like ticket booths and that kind of thing. And then all of the park is basically, most of it's handicap accessible. Would you like me to face you?
Sure, that'd be great. I think our friends are going to follow us.
I think so, yeah. I think
they're joining the two-way.
So, Marcusen Park has been around for a long, long time. It was opened up for baseball games in 1948 or 1947. Paul and I go back and forth.
48.
48, there you go. The grandstand basically was built the next year, so they had baseball here for a year before the grandstand was built. If there's ever a bad storm, this is probably one of the two places in town that I would want to be, because this place is built like a fortress. And but because of a lot of water runoff and that kind of thing over the course of time, the city in 2004 decided it was just too much, too labor intensive to keep on cleaning it out. And so Marcusen Park was slated to be bulldozed down, and because Riverland Field was built. And Austin needed Riverland Field too. We helped a lot of volunteers in our group helped a lot with that, but there were a lot of people in town that did not want to see Marcusen Park be disposed of either. So a group was formed called the Marcusen Park Baseball Association that since like 2004, is responsible for all the upkeep and all of the improvements made to the park. So there has been a plethora of volunteers and people who have donated money. We have community sponsors, we have done raffles, we get private donations, and so with a lot of help in the last 15, 16 years, this ballpark has really seen a lot of baseball. So Austin has been really very fortunate to have some really awesome baseball. This is home now to Lyle Puccelli High School, because the Austin High School plays at the college. However, last year when the Austin High School team went to state, the playoffs got to be held down here because there was kind of a conflict in venue, and so it was amazing. It was so much fun. We got to have, because all those kids that play on the high school team, this is where they play in the summertime. They play here on their Legion team, the VFW team, so for them, they thought it was like coming home to play their playoff games to send them on their way to the state tournament. So we're going to take and go inside the park. We're going to go down the locker rooms that maybe a lot of people that come here don't get to go down the locker rooms. They're not that amazing, but it's always fun to go down and just check them out. There's been some people here. There was a couple of people here for a class reunion a couple of years ago. Nancy Hadorf, some of you maybe know her. Her dad was a baseball guy for years and years. Anyway, her and her friend, they came down and they wanted to see the locker rooms, because when they were kids running around here, they were girls and they didn't get to go down in the locker rooms. You weren't allowed to do that at that time. So I thought that was kind of an unusual request, and I kind of chuckled, but they're not the only ones. So we're going to go down in the locker rooms and just check them out. The dugouts were redone in 2012, approximately. That was a huge effort with the city, and had some volunteer workers that helped us out. Austin Harbor Concrete, Fox Electric, Hanson Hauling. They were really awesome and helped us out with, we paid the workers, but they provided the equipment. And we basically dug up the whole infield, and the dugouts were all replaced because they were getting pretty shabby looking. I probably wouldn't have gone down there at that time. And so they're easy to maintain, easy to clean, that kind of thing. So they do have a little bit of cracks even the last half a dozen years, because this is Minnesota, you know. So, so this is the dugouts. And then we go down into the locker rooms, and again, they used to have showers and all that kind of thing down here, but because of maintenance, we've taken them out. So
a really low overhang here.
So again, It's a little bit cooler down here, which is nice. But it basically just has, a bathroom and that kind of thing, and a place for the players to get ready. And we do have to put we did some painting a couple years ago, and we just have to put the hooks back on the walls again. But otherwise, we try to keep things pretty bare because we know we're going to get flooding. And so we have to keep it available, keep it so it's easy to maintain for us too. So, and then you'll notice on the locker rooms, both locker rooms are about the same. On the locker rooms, there's a Greyhound, and then the other one has a Blue Sox emblem on it. And that was because the Greyhounds were the team that started up here about 25 years ago. My husband came to town and he started the Greyhounds. And so actually they played a lot of their games their first couple of years on the road because Austin hadn't had a team for a while. And then after that, Austin had a good team, so then people started coming to Austin for lots and lots of games. So we've sold lots of Spam burgers over the years, hot dogs, and all hormel, of course. So it's been a lot of fun.
Sorry about that. Didn't watch it.
Okay.
So I think we're back online here.
So yeah, the Greyhounds have been around. The team has been around for about over 25 years. The Blue Sox, they were here. We had that team going on for about 10 to 12 years probably. Austin for a while had 2 Class B teams going, and they were both very highly competitive in the state. That's a big feat. And then we also had a C team at the time that went to state about the same time. And then there was another team. For a couple of summers, there was actually 4 Austin teams, and they were good teams. 3 of them were very highly competitive. One was more of a recreational one, but because we wanted to keep on finding places for guys to play. And this was all before wood bat leagues came around and that kind of thing, so that's kind of changed the dynamics of town ball a little bit. But so Austin, our Marcusen Park has had a lot of baseball down here. And I apologize, but I forgot to turn my phone off.
This is live television.
Yeah, sorry.
And
whoever
have any
it is,
questions, feel free to add to the comments.
they can wait. So yeah. So next we're going to go up to the press box. And again, we couldn't do a lot of this without the help of volunteers and that kind of thing. We have a lot of community support over the years, so it's been an amazing kind of a thing. And sometimes when you have volunteers, it's like, at different times, different people have been involved in at different times and that kind of thing. They were maybe more involved 20 years ago, and then there's other people that are involved now that were into, and so we kind of exchange roles a little bit. All of those, the fencing came from up here actually. This was used to be packed full of this kind of seating. This seating was put in when Austin Mini Stars were here because they needed to replace the old wood seating. And so it's awesome. It gets kind of hot in the heat of the day, but it was very close together. And so when we needed the materials, we took some of the seating out because, again, it kind of makes it so there's more space. Cleaning-wise makes it a lot easier. And we just didn't really need that much seating space because there's places along the third base line and first base line that people bring their lawn chairs and all that. They do that anyway. They kind of hang over the fence and watch the game. So there used to be, years ago, all the grandstand, and then there was bleacher seating all the way down the first base line, all the way down third base line. It was just jammed. I've seen aerial photos of when there were games down here, probably in the 60s, Paul, you think? 50s, 60s, and it was, we're talking packed. So but we don't need all that seating, and they basically use the material for the fencing. So we've had lots and lots of events down here besides baseball. We had a traveling military baseball game down here a few years ago, which was really, really just an amazing salute to our servicemen. And it was just a fun night of baseball, and just lots of people from all kinds of different walks of life were down here watching the game. We've had concerts down here with the Arts Festival concerts. They've been so much fun. Gosh, we just have had lots of different events that are not even baseball related. Now I'm kind of drawing a blank to it. Yeah, we've had some pretty big events and then smaller events too. We have weddings. We're having a wedding here this weekend. We had a big wedding a few years ago. Actually, Joe Huffman, a long time. Well, he's been married for quite a long time now, but yeah, they had there was chairs all over in the infield, and yeah, it was really fun. baseball's not going on, the birds, this is their home too, because we have to share this, our outdoor space a little bit. So up here is our press box, and announcers, all of our lights and from here. And two, I would be remiss to say that along when we did, we put in new lights a handful of years ago, probably 4 or 5 years ago now. We were the first stadium, outdoor stadium or amateur stadium in Minnesota to put in the new LED lighting. And so with the help of the Hormel Foundation and fundraising that we've done and the help of the city, that kind of thing, we were able to put in the LED lighting, which is fabulous, and then a complete sound system as well, which has been a really awesome upgrade to the park. But again, it's like there's a lot of fundraising goes on, but again, we couldn't have done it without the Hormel Foundation either. So it's a huge partnership that we enjoy because we live in Austin. So come on up in here. It's hot, but once the windows are open, it's not so bad. It gives you a good outlook on the field. As you're looking out straight into the field, there is the water. Sometimes when it floods, it actually has gotten up about a foot underneath the Marcusen Park sign, if you can believe that. That's probably as high as it's gotten, and that's probably like in 2004. Actually, the sign was down. It was down further in 2004. It got flooded, and it had to be moved up. So that's actually, it's higher than it used to be in the old days. Way out to the right there by that white car is we have our snow pile, which now, since it's after the 4th of July, it's pretty depleted, but it gets huge. It gets up into the highline pole, over the highline poles, basically. And there's lots of people that have a lot of, like, wagering going on as to when it's going to totally diminish. So usually it happens to be in July, unless it's been a really easy snow winter. So yeah. And then off to the right, where that black truck is, actually during the night games, we actually have an eternal flame over there. And sometimes people, when they're watching the game, they look over when it's kind of a little breezy and they see this flame over there, and they're saying, well, we think there's a fire over there, but really we tell them it's our eternal flame, and actually it's a treatment plant of Austin. Lots of fun stories from here. Gosh, it's like so many stories. But again, I have to make sure I mention some of our volunteers. Joe Stiolo, who's out there with his son Alex right now. He is the spearhead between having any baseball down here during this unusual baseball season. So he has been working like crazy to provide baseball for lots of kids down here, because the scheduling has been just really, really difficult. And we just got the okie dokie to play down here like of July 1st. So we don't have our sponsor signage like we usually do. Usually we have all of our community sponsor signage up, and it's really kind of a cozy atmosphere down here. Our concession stand's not down here because we're not allowed to do that. It's just really, it's a different feeling, but thanks to Joe, at least the kids have a place to play, and the fans have been coming out and watching the kids, which has really been awesome. And like I said, Mike Getz, he's been doing the work with the fencing. Louise Burhow, she is on our board. She is the daughter of Dick Seltz, so she has a long history of baseball. Peg Anderson, she comes down and helps me with the concession stand, and she has been involved in baseball for years and years in Austin. And she just had a birthday like 2 weeks ago, and so it's she's seen more baseball games in her lifetime than I will ever see. Josh Coonsey is another one. He works for the fire department here in town, and he is another huge volunteer. Again, my husband Joe, he was the brainchild by organizing all these people to get together and create the Marcusen Park Baseball Association to basically keep, like I said, like the little banner on the side of the wall says, keeping the memories alive or dreams alive, and making sure that there's baseball down by the river in Austin. So that's kind of fun. The college field is amazing. We needed that complex really to make a good venue for especially tournaments and that kind of thing. But down by the river, it just has a real cozy, homey feel to it. And so we've been really fortunate to have the ability to come down here. So tell me if there's some things that I should say that there's probably some ashes out in the field. I've been told people have actually, because they were huge baseball fans, they've come down here, probably scaled the fence without anybody knowing. This is not in recent times, but they've kind of alluded to the fact that they've made sure that some ashes were down there because that was the wishes of somebody who was a player down here at one time. So, yeah.
Are there any other questions out there? If anybody has any questions, feel free to type them in the comment section. We'll be glad to get them.
Or memories.
Carmela Hagen, I'm sorry if I butchered your name. She says, thank you, Joe. And then she also says, did we share who the artist is for the mural with the baseball flag?
Oh, actually, the artist is Randy and Barb Quam's daughter.
Jill?
I think it's Lynn, or no, Jill.
Jill.
That's who it was.
She painted that?
Yes, she painted that. Her and a friend of hers did it, and they did it, gosh, back 2005, 6, something like that. I mean, yeah, it's amazing how well it's weathered.
Yeah.
But I think because it's on the north side of the building, it doesn't see all the sun. Because I just found out a couple of years ago who actually did it. I didn't know that. And so, yeah, all those years ago they did that, and it's like I said, it's amazing how well it's weathered. And it's just a fun mural. I have it on. I try to put it on all our logo stuff. Yeah, it's just a really nice thing. So, yeah. Other questions?
Carmela also said, much appreciated. Thank you all volunteers who helped keep this treasure. And she's got a lot of emojis going on.
So
That's awesome.
what's the baseball game schedule this summer? Do you know?
Go to marcusenpark.com. I just updated it yesterday. There's a lot of baseball games going on in July. Everything's packed into July because that's kind of was the rules that they kind of had to go by, and so there's a lot of stuff going on in July. Greyhounds playing. There's some 17Us. There's some Legion kind of kids. The official Legion schedule, VFW schedules got canceled, but they kind of came up with a remediated kind of schedule. The 14Us are going to play down here too. The kids really love to play down here, and it's such a fun. When we have double headers, we pull out the grill and we grill spam burgers and that kind of thing. It's like we really try to make it a kind of a cozy atmosphere, and so it provides a lot of good memories, even to this generation of kids. I mean, there's a lot of people maybe that are tuning in that have a lot of fond memories years ago, but in the last 15 years now, the guys that played down here in the early days of the Greyhounds, I mean, they're all in their 30s, 40s with kids and that kind of thing, but they had some awesome memories because this place didn't get bulldozed down. So a whole other generation of people that have some really good baseball memories, or just fun family memories. I mean, people come down here, they bike down here if they see there's a game going on, or walk down here, and it kind of becomes a place. Rosie Seltz, she bikes from across town over to Marcusen Park, and it's the hike, but it's that's kind of her loop, that kind of thing. I haven't seen her this summer because I haven't been down at the concession stand, but yeah, that was in years past. This has been her loop, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's really fun. It just brings people together in amazing ways. Kind of gives people a place to come back to. This is one of the few places I think in town where kids can come down here and they can just run around and scream and get dirty, and it's a safe place. We we watch out for the kids too, and there's kids that come down here, and sometimes when they get a little bit older, their parents, drop them off or come and sit and watch the game, and they track down foul balls, and we give them tokens for the concession stand for that, and so that gives them a reason to come down, and so it makes a lot of fun. So for lots of generations, they have a lot of good memories.
Do you have comments,
So,
Paul?
the Greyhounds, actually, I checked with Joe, are Sunday at 6 for the next opportunity to experience the new era of town ball in Austin. Just a couple things, as you look down past the grandstand, there's that big open green space. The grandstand opened in 1950, and because of weather and flooding, it kind of opened in stages. But it was originally designed for like 2,500 to 3,000 people. And to give you an idea how this park was attended and how baseball was important to the city of Austin, by the time they got to the end of the season, they had to add those bleachers all the way down, basically down both sides of the foul poles for an extra 1,000 people. They were drawing in 3,500, 4,000 people per game down here for people to come and see not only the Austin Packers, but the high school teams. Basically almost all the baseball that was going on in Austin took place down here. When we met with Larry, a couple things that changed. The scoreboard that's now out in left, the scoreboard was out in right field when it first opened. There were actually...
That's right there, if you can't quite see it.
Yeah, the Welcome to Marcusen Park. I'm not sure if it's the same scoreboard, but it got moved at some point. We don't know exactly when yet. something to work on. And you know, you can, if you do come down here, you can imagine we had that photo of the 1950 championship team with all of the players lined up on the third base dugout. From it, obviously the dugout's changed a little bit, but you can kind of picture what it was like, and to be here 70 years ago with Moose Skowron and the Southern Many champion Packers. So just a lot of history took place down here. As we post about history of baseball in Austin, a lot of people talking about that was the place to be. My parents had season tickets, I had season tickets, and we were down here all the time. So really a great part of Austin's history.
We can walk a little bit, but there's a plaque down behind that I would like to show people. If we could kind of, I think we showed that the last time we were here, so we'll go on a little walk here. Plus, it's very warm up here in the walk.
It's very warm up here.
Warm everywhere.
Can people bring food? I see you have a picnic table.
Yeah, you can bring food. You can bring all your concessions and kind of food, drinks, that kind of thing. This year, absolutely. And we are pretty lax about it. We do provide the concession stand and we don't like discourage, you know, people bringing their own stuff either, because we do it as more as a service. We do, obviously, we need to make money too, but it's we provide a service. And some people, they just used to packing their own stuff. Other people, if they know the concession stand's always open, then they support us.
Yeah.
You know, so it's one or the other. They're doing a little bit of work, but we're gonna go down to this
We're gonna
plaque.
go down to the plaque here.
You guys are running a little fast. Trying to catch up.
So, hold on one second. There, house this side built.
Larry was going to join us today, but had a conflict, so he wasn't able to be with us here today.
Anyone else have any other questions? Beth Bearson, again, I apologize if I messed up the last name, but she says, love this history of Austin baseball.
So thanks for watching, everybody. Amanda, where are we gonna be next week?
Next week, we are going to Riverside Arena, and we're doing the history of hockey here in Austin, and the Austin
It'll
Bruins
be a lot cooler.
are going to be presenting for us, so we're pretty excited for that. So tune in next week at noon on Hormel Historic Homes Facebook page, Moore County Historical Society Facebook page, or if you have missed some videos, you can check them out on the videos tab of our Facebook pages. But also the Hormel Historic Home has a YouTube channel now, so go ahead and subscribe.
We do have one more question here. When people come to watch, is there a space to donate to the park? We usually buy concessions when we come in past years.
You know, go to the website and we'll make sure that we make that accessible. We haven't used that in the past, but we do need to do that because we don't have our normal way for people to donate. Usually people stop at the concession stand and they just know us and that kind of thing, and they help us out, and or they buy raffle tickets, that kind of thing. And so some of our normal ways of creating revenue, we will make sure we get that up and running, because you're right, that's a good feature to have for people who want to support the park from a distance. Absolutely. And we appreciate it so much, so thank you for bringing that up.
Okay,
I'm out of questions.
thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks for
Anything,
watching,
Paul?
everybody.
Our guest,
Any last
our
minute?
another guest speaker here. Okay, thanks for watching.